right there. Damn, set, watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of Washington Commanders Morning Show. I'm your host of the Trap or Dive podcast, Mual. Happy Friday to everybody. We made it to the week. Well, I mean, I made it to the weekend. See what I'm saying? I'm off work, you know. I don't know about y'all, but shout out to everybody who is off work today. You know, shout out to everybody who is off on Christmas Eve as well as Christmas. But salute to everybody, you know, that still got to get on the grind. You know, I don't want to rub anything, you know, the daily grind in y'all face. You know what I'm saying? Having those off days are important, but working is just as important. So happy Friday. Good morning, everybody. Tapped in. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Jay Tizzy, I see you. Timothy, yes, sir. You are right on time. Man, we got a lot going on this weekend, bro. I don't know how many of you all are Commanders fans, sick and off work, but working all day Christmas, man. Hopefully you're not too, you know, hopefully it's not too bad, like the illness that you're going through. So hopefully it's not too bad. You just got to kick your feet up for a little bit till you feel better. Which ain't a bad sick. You know, sick days aren't too bad. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you got a wife make you some soup, right? Chicken noodle soup, vegetable soup, or something like that. You know? But yeah, we got a lot going on this weekend, bro. Before we got on, I was looking at the college football playoff schedule. I don't know how big of a fan y'all are in FCS playoffs, but I forgot the semifinals are on Saturday. Bro, we got college football. We got college football playoffs, FCS playoffs, and basically NFL playoff games, like teams who are vying for, you know, that playoff bid or fighting for seeding. Last night, the Chargers and Broncos. I was heavily invested in that game. If you get what I'm saying. Brad, when I tell you I had the Chargers -2.5. Actually, let me check and see how my underdog fantasy doing. But I had the Los Angeles Chargers -2.5, and I had a little hefty wage on them boys. Playing within my unit size, right? I'm not for those who are aware of units. Playing within my unit size. I put a couple units on the Chargers. So when they went down, first off, when Denver came out the gate, bro, scored on their first 3 possessions or first 4 possessions, I was getting ready. See, like the good news and bad news of FanDuel. If you are primarily betting on at least FanDuel, I don't know about other apps because I don't really I stick to like my comfort zone. I don't really know about DraftKings and all these other apps. But my point and where I'm getting to is when Denver scored on their first 3 possessions of the game, and Denver went down. Los Angeles went down 21-10. Well, I was ready to cash out. I was like, you know what, bro? I don't think the Chargers got it right now. And like that's a gift and a curse of FanDuel because sometimes you cashing out makes sense. Like if you got a really a huge long shot and want to take advantage of a profit, but then sometimes you got to stick through it. And I stuck through that first half of the Chargers last night. Like I'm sure the Bo Nix chance was going crazy. Them little 3-4 yard dump offs he had. You know what I'm saying? Going for some big plays. That boy Marvin Mims, the guy that cooked Washington when they I think it was last year, right? Yeah, last year. Marvin Mims. when with Russ in Denver. Marvin Mims had like 3 catches for 100-something yards. But Marvin Mims going 55 yards down the sideline on like a mesh route on a crosser against the Chargers. And I'm like, oh Lord, bro. They need Asante Samuel back. They need Jesus. Jefferson. I seen Jefferson. I knew Jefferson was going to get a penalty off the very first play. That man was headhunting. I said, oh, he's going to be a problem. Got a penalty like 3 plays later on the first drive of the game. Anyway, it was still an entertaining game. Bo Nix, I think for the most part, he came to play. His offensive line, who I thought was doing a pretty good job early on, wasn't able to survive through the adjustments the Chargers made. They was able to get some pressures, get some sacks on Bo. And but I think Bo and Justin, man, they did their thing. What really hurt Justin in Los Angeles in that first half was that late first half pick. But I mean, Harbaugh found a way, or a screen, my bad. Harbaugh found a way to get them the ball back, and it worked out in their favor after that penalty on the punt return. But yeah, man, it was a really entertaining game. It's ironic that both these teams couldn't run the football coming into the game, and both of them got over 100 yards. Granted, they needed their quarterback to do so, Bo Nix and Justin Herbert. But they got over 100 this day. And they both look solid running it. Gus Edwards really sprung LA when he had that 40-yarder at the end to help seal the game for LA. So anyway, entertaining game. I think they said both of them. I think the AFC is more so sealed. Where did I talk about this? I feel like I talked about this on the show. Oh no, all 32. All 32 show. Yeah, AFC is pretty much sealed, bro. You don't have anything over there where it's like that's going to compete with the wild cards in LA and Denver, and Baltimore. Like that like you got to pray that Indy wins out and Cincy wins out in Miami. Like that's the only 3 competition right there. Cincy, Miami, and Indianapolis. Like I don't see Denver or LA really losing out. And plus, yeah, I don't really see neither one of them losing out at all. So that's shout out to them. They don't have to do too much battling over there in the AFC now that I think about it with those wild cards. Okay. I want to start off the show with I got a comment on this film session that I did. I posted on YouTube yesterday. Sam said Harbaugh is such a good coach. The Chargers roster is not a playoff roster, but they are in the mix. I don't think their receivers are there. That got me thinking. I don't think their receivers are there. But like if all of their starters are in on defense, I think they got a solid roster. It's crazy. Like when you talk about receiver grades, right? And we did that a lot on this channel going into the season, and even did a couple revisits in the regular season. When you talk about grading receivers, and y'all want to say like, y'all got question marks for this receiver core. Like they got Ladd McConkey and Josh Palmer, and that's it. I intentionally skipped over Quentin Johnson, if y'all was wondering. The man dropped a hitch route, bruh. Or like a 3-yard route he dropped. In crunch time. Man, gonna talk about my bad. Don't nobody want to hear that. That's like your 30th drop on the season. You talking about some my bad going to the other. How many times are you gonna say that to them? Okay, where's that? Oh, so I want to read this comment from this film session. Post on Hawks Haven. And okay. And what I think for this conversation, I'm gonna just bring it to light. Bear with me, It's a little lengthy. Okay. But it does spark some interesting conversation. Context wise, in my article, sometimes when I put out film sessions that's on YouTube and I write them on Hogs Haven, I don't put a lot of meat pause on the article. What I typically do is like an overview of what I'm going to talk about in the film session that's on YouTube. If I do a film session that's not on YouTube, but I post it on Hogs Haven with the article, with the clips, I'm clearly much more detailed in the article. So with the plays and all of that stuff. So in the article, I basically highlighted how Daniels was efficient as a passer. He bailed Washington's offense out several times. Converted first downs with his arms and his legs to extend drives. Thought he made, several key plays throughout the entire duration of the game. I think all of those things are true. Knowing that I omitted, it wasn't like deceitful. It wasn't nothing deceitful. It was just me omitting, like, there was two plays in the fourth quarter that, he could have connected with Terry on for a touchdown. There was some plays where he took some sacks that was on him. Right? We know that. But I think that's known. You don't have to necessarily say it for it to be unknown. If you watch the game, but if you also understand or like get to the film session, that I acknowledged that in the film session that there was sacks that he took that was on him, specifically like 2 or 3 of them, 2 or 3 of the 8. Fast forward, we get to this comment, and we'll go from there, right? All right, so here's the comment. Like I said, bear with me. It's a little lengthy, but I'm going to try and go over his most important takeaways. I just rewatched that entire game, and there are a lot of mistakes that Daniels made which are not being highlighted here. Why gloss over that in an effort to anoint him as an already elite quarterback? Yeah, he made some very accurate passes, showed a high ceiling on some drives, but he also completely missed seeing open receivers on several plays and missed golden opportunities to throw some quick passes and gain chunks of yards instead of trying to tuck and run or scramble. He really didn't need to scramble anywhere as often as he did, and he absolutely took some unnecessary sacks on his. Oh, he left a period out. He absolutely took some unnecessary sacks. On his first sack, he had a wide open Crowder just to his left, and the Saints completely blew that coverage. Crowder had his hands up in the air, and Daniels never saw him, ended up taking a sack. That's true. Those are one of the plays that I'm discussing in which he took a sack that he didn't have to take. Next sack, he goes through a couple sacks, right? Talks about somebody, Jeremy McNichols, being in front of him. Play-by-play guy pointed out how nonchalant was. He's also a bit careless with the ball. He fumbled twice, both on critical plays as he ran with the ball. His ball security in traffic needs to improve. If I had to boil it down to just one element of his play that bothers me the most is how often he fails to scan the field and execute a dump off when he feels the play is starting to break down. Once he decides to tuck that ball, there's 0% chance he will find an open receiver to dump the ball off to, and sometimes that leads to sacks and penalties. He said some more. I'm going to keep going through. He says the hype falls short of what's actually transpiring on the field. I'm going to run that back because it was a little choppy. The hype falls short of what's actually transpiring on the field. He left many points on the field in that last game with several missed opportunities. At least 2 of the holding penalties we took here because he missed seeing the open receiver and was trying to get to the sidelines. Right now, he's a fairly high ceiling, low floor type of player. If he can correct his recurring trend of trying to run so often instead of actually swiveling his head, around and touching his eyes and firing pass more frequently, the offense will be better off for it because it will lead to less sacks, less third and long plays, and less penalties taken by his teammates who are trying to prolong the play for him. He also says that Cliff Kingsbury doesn't really do him any favors with the play designs. And then he ends with, he's a work in progress, not quite near the hype. That's what I'm getting at, JD. I said, I'm over here. I'm over here reading your comment. That's what I'm getting at, J Tizzy. I think this individual has an issue with Jayden Daniels, right? But what I'm going to do is put my analyst hat on and let's kind of take away, or let's kind of acknowledge some things, right? From a personal standpoint, I never labeled him anything. So I don't know where the anointance and an elite quarterback came from. I never specifically labeled him anything. And I think this person came to the comment section and was wondering, he was looking for one or two things. And even if he didn't find those one or two things, he was going to make this comment anyway. But I do think he is an elite quarterback, though I never said it in the in the comments or the article. Anyway, there's statistics that also backs up how well of a quarterback he's playing. He's been a top 5 quarterback the entire season. So I find that interesting. Second thing is he watched the game back. So I know if you watch the game copy back, you didn't see some of the angles and some of the plays he made actually with his arm and with his ability to process. And if you look at the very first touchdown of the game, he was scrambling. So the idea of him tucking the ball and trying to run just isn't true sometimes. Like, he knows how to work a pocket. And the fumbles that he had, what fumbles have impacted this team? Please, you tell me, sir. I'm not even mentioning his name. If you're listening and you support the show, cool. But you did as wrong. But I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and go back to the point. 2 fumbles. First off, let me tell you one thing about why that's wrong. First off, he had 1 fumble that was accredited to him. And he's had 5 fumbles on the season. 5 fumbles. 2 of them in the last 2 weeks. And do you know when the last one came in which Jayden Daniels fumbled? Week 1, where he had 3 that was credited to him. And one of them wasn't really a fumble because it was like a pass fail thing, whatever that stupid stuff is. He has 5 fumbles on the season. So let's kind of nip that. Let's nip that in the bud. So, like, his idea of saying that Jayden has ball security issues, that is a prepared response, right? Tucking and running and not looking downfield, that is a prepared response. I don't think you're wrong that he's taking some bad sacks. But if you're going to acknowledge that he's taking bad sacks, which is not hard to acknowledge, first off, of the 8, again, 2 or 3 was on Jayden. Right? But if you're going to acknowledge that, Jayden is taking some bad sacks, let's also acknowledge, if we're talking about specifically the New Orleans Saints, who bailed this offense out 1,000 times throughout the game. That was Jayden. Jayden bailed the offense out. So his mention of failing is how often he scans the field, like, and executes a dump off. That's inaccurate as well. We also talk about that in film sessions. Not to say that he actually watches the film sessions. I don't even think, like I said, I think he was a person who went straight to the comment section and wanted to get that off his chest. I don't think he watched anything that I produced on Trap or Dive. I also don't think he's even being genuinely honest with himself. Because if you, first off, if you look at what he's done throughout the season, a lot of his plays are check downs near the. I mean, he passes downfield. Y'all understand. But there are several plays where he uses his check down or uses the receiver in the flat as an outlet. But all of this to say, he said, one of the parts I skipped. He said his scramble TD pass to Terry is an exception. I guess he had to cover his bases. That's funny. I just responded to him and I just said okay. And I said his name, like responding to him. I don't disagree that he's a work in progress either. Like I think that's very much true. But he says not quite near the hype. Like that is very intentional. That's another intentional prepared statement that he came in the comment sections with. So sir, I say all this to say, while I didn't give you the energy in the comment section on Hog Saving that I so truly appreciate, because the comment section is incredible. That's where most of your support comes from. To you, I say you are a goddamn hater. You wrote 300 words in your comment, and 98% of that was hate. Like, yeah, if you watch that play and you come out of that game with more criticism than it is awareness of what Jayden Daniels did in that game, then I don't have any further words for you. He was super efficient. Like, never mind the fact that he went 25 and 31. He went 25 and 31. 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Yeah. That's it. I hope you all enjoy, like, the other side of the grass, right? You know, there are people out here who still feel a way about Jayden Daniels. And he really had to get that off his chest. So let me go through the comments. Oh, Beyond Levels. Good morning, sir. I hope you hit that like button when you joined up, bro. You might as well. I mean, you back in here again. You know. One of the bays that Hal Heineke fan, or maybe, what's his name? Drake May. I wonder what Drake May did this week. Actually, I'm low key. Actually, the last couple of games I watched, because I had bet against the Patriots, but excluding the Cardinals game. Drake May been looking cool. How did he do against the Cardinals? Yeah, 68% of completing 68% of his passes, nearly 2,000 yards in nine games. But he got 12 touchdowns and has thrown 9 picks, which is, you know, part of the conversation that everybody, like, he's thrown a God damn. He's thrown a pick in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive games. See, you don't even get that from Jayden. And your boy in the comment section, not even like, what you want? Like a QB that turn the ball over consistently, or you want a guy who's super efficient at the quarterback position that may not get you the big play every single drop back, but he can mix it up. Like, he will dot your ass up if you let him. Yeah, he did 19 of 23 against the Cardinals, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Did he run it? Oh, damn. 4 carries, 14 yards. Okay. While I haven't even sound the plays. While I haven't even sound the plays, he'd be found the plays he'd be talking about. This dude sounds like an idiot. This individual is a fan of the team that won it and didn't get. Yeah, I'm anointing him elite based off his numbers and the records he's broken. Tell that loser pull up. Exactly. He hasn't fumbled. He hasn't fumbled that much. He has 5 fumbles. That's exactly where I'm getting at, bro. I thought it was pretty funny, bro. I think it was a prepared statement. I wonder if he copied and pasted and put it in like several different chats, or maybe he just wanted to put it in the film session article on Hog Saving. Who knows? Jayden has exceeded the hype. That's where I'm getting at, bro. I thought it was funny, man. Grass ain't always greener. You know, everybody got their cup of tea, and Jayden Daniels is not his. Any rookie that has my team second in division, sitting on 9 wins and route to the playoffs, I'll take that every day and twice on Sunday. That's exactly what I'm saying, Juan. Every day and twice on Sunday. Shout out to people who are more rational in this fan base. 1 TD a game for 8 games, no picks, and no wins to boot. I do think it's ironic too. Another thing, like all of that complaining, right? And you talking about a team who has a top 10 offense with 9 wins. Why do you think they have 9 wins, sir? Not to say the 9 wins are completely all on Jayden, but we can talk about why they got 9 wins, right? Jayden Daniels is a large percentage of it. You got a stable offense in terms of like your structure and your identity. You know, Terry McLaurin surging, right? Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz. I'm on my Stephen A shit, like not even breaking down the actual team, just naming people. I don't know if y'all ever noticed, bro. Like Stephen A will break down a game in the NBA like it's nothing, whether he right or wrong, right? But he'll break down a game like it's nothing in the NBA. And when he gets to the NFL, bro, he just named players on the team, bro. Like Stephen A, like you start talking about the let's see who's surging right now. Let's just use Washington effort. Yeah, man. That man Jayden Daniels, he's special, man. I tell you. Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz, he's a bad man. I'm telling you. Terry McLaurin, he may make his first All-Pro. It's just me, you know. But I think they got a shot in the playoffs. I think they special. Dan Quinn got them boys humming. Like all of the high level, not too much in the weeds, compared to the NBA where he can break it down like it's nothing. I do think it's funny sometimes to try and catch him when he does that. But yeah, I think Washington is just in that position, man, where you're talking about a team who really is surging. Like I think, you know, people aren't like some people. They may be in the minority here in the fan base. Some people aren't necessarily aware of the state that this team is in. And that ultimately gets in their way of seeing just how good Jayden Daniels is, right? And just how good he can be if he gets more help on this team. There was a conversation that, you know, I actually asked Twitter. So we talked about this on the show, on the podcast on Tuesday. The conversation was about like having a signature win. I asked on Twitter just how important a signature win is. Like, how do people feel about uh idea of Washington needing a signature win, right? Somebody responded. Let me see if I actually pull up the tweet because I thought it was a decent perspective. All right, here it is. So I asked the question: does Dan Quinn need a signature win this season? Also recognizing that Philadelphia is probably like the last opportunity for it, and we're not even talking about like the playoffs, right? If they win in the playoffs, that's your that's like unquestioned signature win. If you get a playoff win, that's unquestioned signature win because right now you're probably going to be the 2 seed. So upsetting the number 2 seed, you're probably getting the number 2 seed, as in that's your opponent. So upsetting whoever that is, whether it's Detroit or Philadelphia or Minnesota, depending on how things shake out, that's going to be your signature win. If you go on the road and you upset that 2 seed, I think this is fair as well. I think that it can stand as a potential contender in the playoffs. I think that a win against Philly can boost in your confidence, like significantly. I was a person, obviously yesterday, I said that I thought that Philly was going to win. But I genuinely do think that Washington has like the better chance. I may be delusional. Cause look, I also came on this space on Trapper Dive, and I said that I thought I vehemently thought that Philadelphia was going to lose one of, if not both, the games that they faced off against the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. They beat them both. So understand me when I say I might be delusional. But I think that Washington has one of the better chances to beat them. Of course, it's any given Sunday. The good news is the season is not over for Philadelphia in the sense of like they still have something to play for. So we're going to get their best shot. You know that we are fighting for a playoff spot, like fighting to confirm our playoff spot or to assure a playoff spot, however you want to say it. I don't know. So we're going to be giving Philly their best shot. This rematch is just as big. Like it's a litmus test that Jay Tizzy said. Yesterday on yesterday's show. It's more of a litmus test than anything. But if you do win, like this is for sure a confidence booster. For sure, eyes are going to be on you as the team who beat Philly, right? But also, like, people are going to be aware of just how special and how much of a force you could be on any given Sunday, which gives you a good shot during the playoffs. So I think that Washington needing a signature win, I said, no, you don't need it right now. But eventually, Dan Quinn will. And when I say eventually, like this season, and when I say right now, like you don't need it right now. Like this season wasn't about solidifying. I didn't even read the response that I said I was going to get to. I don't need to read it because maybe he thought the question itself was posed to knock Washington, or maybe he took offense to it. But all right, what he said was, the trap we fall into sports is instantly getting used to a team being good. Truth is, the fact we even coming this close to making the playoffs after a 4-win season means this year is already a dub. Hope we win, but I'm just enjoying the ride right now. I don't think he's wrong in terms. I think his response is fair in that, like, he's just enjoying the ride. Everybody can do that. But I think considering, conversation like this as a trap, I think it's more of like asking uh asking fair questions that, just wants to get your brain going. Think about it. Signature wins are important. Somebody in the comments mentioned Ron Rivera beating Philly on the road when they were like 2 touchdown or 2 score underdogs against Philadelphia 2 years ago or something like that, right? On that Thursday night or Monday night, and they beat Philly outright. And they considered that a signature win. They did. I didn't necessarily agree with them. Because at the same time, you can sit here and say that their win against Tampa Bay and Tom Brady was a quote unquote signature win. Or the road win against Pittsburgh in Ron Rivera's first season. You can consider that like a signature win. I think signature win is different than like those descriptions, right? I think a signature win would essentially be defined as you're good or you're on the up and coming, right? The team that you're slated to go against is an established good team, right? I also think that with that context being said, a signature win is having a complete game from all phases of the team against a clear-cut top-tier opponent. When is the last time Washington had that type of signature win? I think you'd have to go back to 2012. Maybe. When Washington beat Dallas the last game of the season. Or maybe beating Baltimore that year. I don't know. Would you consider anything in 2015 a signature win? I mean, the Tampa Bay game was a classic. Like, that was a classic game. But they was 3-4 or 2-4 going into the game. See what I'm saying? Like, Washington has been losing a lot. They haven't really had a chance for like a quote unquote signature win. This is a good team now. They have to prove how good they are. And that's kind of where I'm coming from. And that's kind of where I'm getting my definition from. Signatures. You don't need it this year. I don't think that Philadelphia, even if you lose to Philadelphia, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I don't think if it's a bad thing if you lose in a wild card round either. Obviously it depends on how everything plays out, ultimately speaking. But at the same time, Washington will need it, and Dan Quinn will need it eventually, because you can't go parading around here for too long. You can't go around the NFL parading as a team like the Miami Dolphins, as a team who beats up on them who beats up on them teams who don't win a lot, but you can't beat the good teams, let alone beat them on the road. Right? That's what Miami is with Tua and them. Hey, that's a dog ass offense. They provide some problems, right? And I was a little mean. They do have some wins against some better teams or some teams that's good, but like they aren't consistently beating those guys. Like they lose to them. And you don't want to be that team in Miami. You don't want that narrative, bro. Same thing with like Kirk on primetime. You don't want that narrative to be floating around you. So if it ain't this year, you got to win next year. You got to make your statement game next year. Can't afford to keep losing to teams with winning records. Not to saying that they're doing that. If you get what I'm saying, like you can't go into next year and still have the same issue against those top tier teams. Of course, they beat teams in the moment who had winning records. They beat them this year. Chicago, Arizona. I think that's it. I think that's it. I'm double checking. Yeah, that's it. Chicago, Arizona. This win would stamp them as a potential contender. Stay golden. Appreciate everybody who's checking in live. If you are watching live or if you just catching the replay, reminder, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the MFN weekend. I could have came over here with some basil. Some basil hated for your boy. You know what I'm saying? It's 6 a.m. I ain't got to go to work. But I ain't about to go to the gym after this, so maybe that's not the best idea. Hey, do y'all work out? Have y'all ever worked out or did a sport? This gonna sound crazy. Cause I'm also older now too. So like I'm not talking about at your young age where you still in like youth sports, high school sports, or college. Well, shit, college you could probably get away with it. But have y'all ever taken like a shot before a game? Take a shot of your. I used to do Henny shots before. I played flag football. I've been playing for like 8 years now. Yeah, I'm a shot taker sometimes before a game. I knew a dude. I probably told this story like 1,000 times on like over the course of me streaming. But I knew a dude. We used to hoop, and he'd have a pack of beer, and he would. I lie to you not, bro. He was cold too. He was like Jason Kidd, bro. Like a Jason Kidd who loved 40s. Or like a Bud Light or a Corona. So whatever John he was drinking, it was a Bud Light or it was a Corona. He'd have a Corona before the game. And that's when I wasn't even drinking that much. I'm like, bro. I ain't even asked no questions after. Like the first time I seen him do it, and then he came out on that court, bro, and was cooking. I was like, you know what, bro? Take as many drinks as you want before you want to start. Do what you gotta do. I don't think we have a signature win yet. We do have a memorable win though. Cincinnati, yeah, that put Washington on the map. Primetime game, you know, put Jayden on the map, and it was crazy that it was week 3, early in the season. It's early enough to get them impressions of Jayden flowing in a positive light. Because imagine if Jayden was some shit against the Cincinnati Bengals. That's what people will remember as well. Though it will be nice, but no signature win is needed, especially when expectations have already been exceeded in the first year of the rebuild. Time to crank it up for the postseason. I'm with you on. It'd be nice, but it's not needed, at least this year. I feel like we can do what the Bills. Oh, Lord Jesus. I feel like we can do what the Bills did to the Chiefs. Weeks of skating by and ultimately running into a scrappy team. They got lucky against the Jags and Panthers. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about against Philly. Brother, man. I speak positive energy into the light when I say I hope so. I hope that we can do that. I'm not going to say a negative thing about that. A win would put us into the teams you don't want to play category. I agree completely. I think to be taken seriously and not seen as an easy out is to beat Philly. I agree. Depending on how Penix looks with the Falcons, that could be seen as a good win. Yeah, for sure. I mean, think about it this way. Not to do the look ahead thing, but I do think it's important right now. You know, Atlanta still has playmakers, right? Drake London, that entire receiving core, Ray McLeod, Drake. See, that's how y'all know. Like Drake, my dog. I said that man name twice. But Ray McLeod, I don't know what's going on with Kyle Pitts. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie to you, but he ain't as much of a threat as I thought he'd be 3 or 4 years into his career. This is two or three different quarterbacks. You would imagine he'd be all right, but he ain't getting no targets. And I wonder what it is like mentally that's slowing him up from being able to produce. But Bijan and Tyler Algier, that combination is crazy. And Tyler Algier, bro, he played behind his pads. And he's stocky, man. The dude like 230. I like Tyler. And then that defense they have a decent secondary, but you can tote on them. You can tote on them boys, and you can pass the ball. Like, I don't know what it is with their communication back there. But I'm with you. It depends on how Penix looks. The Falcons be seen as a good win. I think that they have a solid roster. So, and I can't forget your boy Grady Jarrett on the defensive line. But I think they have a solid roster already. So beating them, if Penix looks good against the Giants, which many expect he would be, then you should be in good shape as well. Yeah, they basic, but they good though. I don't know. I don't know, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I agreed at one point. I mean, I clearly agreed with you at first, but I just thought about it. I don't agree with it. I think Hurts is above average, but scheme wise, I can't talk about it too much. But I feel like that offense does get hindered for whichever reasons. Might be Hurts, but I think he cool. Raiders Sunday night game. Who got the Raiders? I must have been part of the conversation. Hold on. I do want to know who got the Raiders though. Sunday night. Oh! I forgot we were talking about the signature wins. Yeah, I remember that one with that safety. I got DJ Swearinger. Had Chris Collinsworth all giddy. I remember the Packers game on Sunday night. That was, I mean, you can consider that that was 2016. You can consider that the signature win, but they ain't even make the playoffs that year. It's a good game though. Kirko threw for, I don't know how much he threw for. I think, but he had like 4 touchdowns. I think. Remember JMO? Caught that deep post with that the windy game. P Scrap, what up, player? Good morning. I'm optimistic. This is a completely different defense, literally and schematically, with Lattimore on the field. I agree. That is a big difference. I think for Washington, damn, it was something I want to talk about on that side of the ball. Dang, that sucks. Hopefully I can remember it. It's a completely different defense, literally and schematically, with Lattimore on the field. Damn, I hope I remember what I was going to say. State Golden, I played with the guy who went D1 football who had to eat a large Big Mac meal before each game. That is crazy. Oh, who went D1 football. So it sounds like that happened in college. I mean, in high school, which would make sense. Like, you can eat a little bit before in a high school game. But damn, if you don't call Earl, like a large Big Mac meal, that comes with them large fries, bro. I used to hoop with old heads who would drink before they played. Yep. So and at the time I knew, cuz I was probably like 22, 23. So that kind of tell you it's a little while ago. Like 22, 23, if not like 21. He was like 35, 34, something like that. Allen could be back potentially for the Atlanta game. I think so. I think that Allen, like, everything came as a surprise for us on the outside, but I think Washington knew like his situation the entire time. I think that Washington knew that he can. I think they knew his actual diagnosis, his post-op diagnosis. I knew that he was. Excuse me. I'm sure they knew that he was at that facility rehabbing this entire time, knowing that he can be ready to play like when the time is right. Him being clear for that 21-day window was something they knew all along was probably the goal at this point in which it was initiated. So I think this ain't gonna go through the whole 21-day window. I think he'll probably be back very soon. And I think very soon is probably, against Atlanta. AJ's adamant that he's gonna be available against Philly, but I don't see that. I think this is just as similar as Marshawn Lattimore, in the sense of, they activated his window, John Allen's, but they're not in a rush to get him on the field the same week in which he was activated, similar to Marshawn. Like, they got him. First off, he was truly hurt. Clearly, it showed that he was truly hurt. If he missed that much time, Marshawn did. But they weren't trading him just to get him in the game against Pittsburgh. They're going to make sure that he's good before they get him out there. So, yeah, I think that Allen will be back against Atlanta. I don't know, bro. I know we're talking about Kyle Pitts. I think he's still an athletic guy. I'm just losing a little faith in Kyle. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm just losing a little faith in him. While we don't have signature wins, I do feel like we have underappreciated wins with the Cardinals. And then we put up as many points as the Lions on the Titans. I do think there's some underappreciated wins. I think that's from like fans and people who are outside of, like, from a national standpoint. I think, and when I say fans, I mean like NFL fans, not necessarily Washington fans. I think when you look at Washington's wins this season, I think there's several games on their schedule where they were just outright underdogs. Washington was, and they beat their opponents. Or they were short numbers. Shit, I mean, even Washington covered the bigger spreads, bro. Carolina covered. Tennessee covered. I mean, sure, you lost some too, right? Dallas, you was a 10-point favorite, which is actually crazy looking back at it, because it's like, why the hell did I not bet Dallas plus the 10? Which I should have, because like division games in itself are going to be closer than a 10-point spread. Anyway, New Orleans, you should have covered that. We know how that game went. But yeah, man, I think we do. I mean, it's not a lot of underappreciated wins, but we got a couple of them for sure. Cleveland was a game nobody was really. That was early in the season, so nobody was really expecting Washington to do what they did against Cleveland. Still, and they blew their ass out, dubbed them, put them on a train. Yeah. I remember. But 2015, I don't remember playing the Packers in 2015. Just that playoff game. Got their ass smoked. Yeah, I seen the JD5 award, man. That boy he need one more for the record. JD5 need one more, I think. Got 9 on the season, 9 Rookie of the Year awards. He'll need one more for that. Oh yeah, you gonna need one more to set that record straight. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes, bro. We'll see how that goes. I think he got a couple opportunities to get it. I think he can get it against Atlanta. Put on a show Sunday night. Yeah. On an unrelated note, the rumors are true that Garrett Wilson is looking to be traded in the offseason. Would you want us to go after him? I give up a second and maybe a fourth. Wait, we played hold on, bro. Nah, I don't remember that. I don't remember us playing the Packers in 2015. I'm about to double check just to make sure. Yeah, that was 2016. I was about to say I remember that 2016 was the Monday night game. I mean the Sunday night game where we had the rematch against Green Bay. And we smoked Green Bay. We dubbed their ass, put them on the train too. Okay. I like this question. We can have this question this morning. It is interesting. Matter of fact, let's actually show this comment. Because I hadn't played it yet. I was saving it. But let's see. I think I still got it. Hold on, let me see. All right. I don't have it, but I can search it. It's not gonna be hard to find. Garrett Wilson. Don't worry, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for the quote. This actually may not be. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna play this one because this is from the same pressure, but I don't know if this is the specific one I'm looking for. But I'm gonna play it anyway. All right, here we go.
If the Jets approach you about a contract extension, would you like to stay here long term?
I don't know, man. I just do whatever, whatever. Go about my day, however, here my feet at, And if they do, I would be a blessing. That'd be awesome. I love the Jets. At the end of the day, they were the ones that believed in me. So yeah, But yeah, I can't be worrying about all that. Just gonna finish these 3 games the right way. But I don't know, man. I can't be looking into all that right now.
If the Jets.
All right, that was the quote that I was looking for. Somebody just left out the key words that I was searching. So hold on, did he just miss Garrett Wilson? Hold on. Oh, he did. All right. So what do you all think about that? Just looking at it from a Garrett Wilson perspective. He says he doesn't know. I think he was prepared but unprepared for that question. Like I think he was prepared for it in the sense of like he knew it would come before the season's over. But I don't think he knew that it was going to happen at the interview that took place. And the reason why I say that is because like I don't think that I don't know means like people made a big deal out of that on social media. Let me bring this comment back up. And I don't think that Garrett Wilson was specifically saying he don't know if he wants to be back with the Jets. I think he was really just trying to brush off the question because he is coming up on a contract season soon. I actually think that Garrett has. I think he came out with Olave and now, so that was 3 years. He's going into his 4th year. Yeah. And there was a rumor. Let me double check that he may want to trade. Where did this rumor come from? This may be BS. Also, Sports Illustrated had written an article on that that he could request a trade. I'm trying to read into this too. Oh, so it came from ESPN's Rich. So it came from ESPN, Rich Cimini. Okay. So Rich Cimini says Wilson people in Wilson's camp expect him to request a trade this offseason. So this is from an ESPN source. I don't want to get anybody's hype up or hopes up for Garrett Wilson because it's still 3 weeks left in the season, and on top of that, the way that was worded, hearing in people's camp, I think that's kind of a floater or like a floater phrase to use at this point of the season. But Garrett in itself, I'm sorry I went down that rabbit hole, Tim. I really had to make sure, like, I had to double check and see, like, if this is even a conversation like worth diving into. But it's legitimate rumors out there. I don't know how substantial they'll be coming to off season. But I do think, like, what's the incentive for New York to trade Garrett? Like, he may request a trade, but what's the incentive? You got Devontae Adams and you got Garrett Wilson. Odds are Aaron Rodgers and Devontae are a package deal. Aaron's on a 2-year contract, which expires after the end of the season. I don't know what Devontae contract status look like. But do you expect Devontae to stick around if Aaron ain't there? I don't think so. So that gets back to the question, like, what would be the incentive for New York to trade Garrett Wilson? He's gonna be the only playmaker they got. With Aaron gone, his little minion's gonna leave with him. So I would definitely be interested in Garrett Wilson. I'd love to see how much it cost. Thankfully, they didn't give up a lot for Marshawn. But you will have to give up more than a second and a fourth for Garrett. Like, Garrett is commanding the number one. I'll tell you that right now. Think about it like this. If you think Percy Harvin back in the day wasn't worth that first round pick that Seattle gave up, shit. Somebody else gave up a first. DJ Moore. Now, granted, he may be a little headache for them boys in Chicago, probably because he knows his quarterback not good right now. But you think he wasn't worth the first when Chicago traded that to him? Or Carolina traded that? I don't know how that worked. I can't remember. Anyway, he was worth what they gave up. Somebody else got traded for like a second or a first, but I don't remember who it is. Now I know I went back to Percy Harvin, but I mean, come on, bro. Like, Percy was cold, and I just had to go into the memory bank. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that Garrett Wilson should be? First off, do you think that Garrett Wilson will legitimately be traded from New York? Like, he may request a trade. Do you think he'll be traded from New York? Says last signature win was against the Bucks. And I'm assuming you're talking about the Taylor Heineke game. Andre, good morning. This is a good concept to have, a YouTube morning show. Yeah, man. Appreciate it. You know, I think early on, you know, I did this on the channel. I know we've grown a little bit since then. 2.9K subscribers, man. Shout out to the 2.9. Hopefully we get that last 100 to get to 3K soon. But I did do this a couple years ago. And you know, wasn't able to maintain it. So I'm slowly piecing myself back in there. We're gonna do our Wednesdays and Friday shows. And hopefully grow from there. Shit, you never know, man. I may be furloughed in a couple hours. Shout out to all the Fed workers, the Fed employees, man, who go through the same games that I'm going through right now. That has nothing to do with me. Shout out to you essential workers as well. But yeah, man, if I'm furloughed, I may be on this YouTube thing a little bit more often. We may be on Tribe or Die, maybe a little bit more active. All right. Shit, nobody expected us to beat Cincinnati week 3. I for sure had Washington losing going into that game. I did change my mind though, like closer to kickoff. I was like, I felt something in the air. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I changed my mind, bro. Hold on, this season ain't the 5th-year option. Let me double check contract because he came out the same year Jahan Dawson came out. $2027 free agent. Okay. Yeah, he got one more year, 2025. Yeah, his rookie year was 2022. Okay. Chimini is pronounced Chimini. Hey, I did butcher that name, bro. If that's the case. I like Chimini. Hey, bro, that's funny as hell. I wouldn't blame them. They be going at it. I don't know if y'all seen them clips sometimes on the sidelines, bro. Aaron probably a good feeling, pause, like in the off season and training camps. But now that the regular season is here, because Gary Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, they had a lot of connection, or like conversation going on, and like in them practices and stuff like that. But if Skins lose versus the Eagles, the Falcons game is essentially a playoff game. Washington does control their own destiny. But also, I still think that they are. I'm looking. The Falcons got to beat New York. All right, that'll put them to 8-7. We'll be 9-6. Yeah, 9-7. But you can still beat Dallas. If you beat Dallas, you still have a chance to win. Because I think we have a better conference record than the Falcons. If I'm not mistaken, we've only lost to Dallas, Tampa, and Philly. And in our 5 games in NFC. Like, I think we got the head-to-head. If they beat us, we'll have the head-to-head. I mean, they'll have the head-to-head, excuse me, but they also have what? 1, 2. Oh, they only got 3 NFC losses too. Well, damn. There it is. This is a loaded receiver class. I think they'll get. Damn. Would you trade for Breece Hall? Hawk, what's up, player? Hawk. Gotta do the same thing. You went out too. Hey, Hawk, do me a favor, bro. Join the link. You ain't gotta get on the show. I just got a message. I gotta message you something, bro. So join that and we'll conversate in the private chat. But yeah, man. I would I trade for Breece Hall? I wouldn't trade for Breece Hall. I think any trades that Washington does, including during the trade deadline, that just passed. I think that any trade that Washington does needs to be like worth it. And when I mean worth it, I mean for the certain position, edge rusher, receiver, tight end, depending on the future of Zach Ertz. But edge rusher, receiver, tight end. I think you got to look at offensive line too. What will make sense? But granted, like you don't really see trades with offensive linemen like that. It's happened, but you don't see trades with old linemen like that because people value really good offensive linemen. So I wouldn't necessarily sit here and say that that's going to be a position that will realistically be traded for. But you got to trade for a position that would make sense. And I think when I say make sense, I mean like for Washington, running back isn't like as big a need that would make them need to trade for it. I think that is what wouldn't be part of a conversation in the offseason. But yes, I like Breece Hall. But what also concerns me is like, why do they now? Granted, it may be the offensive line in New York, but Breece ain't really popping off like he did his rookie season. Like he still makes plays, but I'm saying like his impact. I may be tripping. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. He does do a lot. I think he's over 1,000 yards from scrimmage. Yeah, he got 1,100 yards from scrimmage. Yeah, only 100-yard rushing game this year against Buffalo. The next one, his highest was an 80-yard game. Yeah, bro. Oh, it was the second year he popped off. No, it was the third. It was the first year. Yeah, I know I wasn't tripping. 2 games started, he took off, then he hurt his leg, hurt his knee. He was averaging like 6 yards a carry. And he's not doing bad right now. I still think, I mean, he's clearly a good running back. 2 straight years over 1,000 yards from scrimmage. Had 1,500 last year. Played in all 16 games. He is a little bit more durable than I thought, and only 23. But nah, I wouldn't trade for him. I do think he's a good back, though. And if you keep an Eckler around and Brian Robinson, I don't think you're going to make that move. That's a good question. Garrett Wilson will not get a first-round pick. Stop. It's a second-round pick at best. High speed. Hey, how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet Garrett Wilson go for first? Let's put something on it. We could do a little a friendly wager. It's like, nah, we ain't gotta go down that route. But I do think he's gonna go for a first-round pick, bro. I think Garrett probably command like maybe one first. If not, if he doesn't net a first, he'll go for like a second and multiple picks. But at least a second rounder for sure. With multiple picks, which is just, it was gonna be just as high or equivalent to a first round in real life, like not Madden. So if he don't get a first, like a single one, because somebody can trade just a one for him, and the Jets will probably take that. But if they don't get a one, he'll probably he'll go for like a second and a few picks, like maybe like a second, a next year's third, and a fourth round or something like that. I think if the price is good, they do a trade. Okay, all right, I see you. Hold on, let me shoot you a message in the private chat. Showing some love to you and Al too, man. Hold on. Okay. All right. Also, y'all think, okay, so Coley thinks that Garrett Wilson will be traded. I will say this. While I don't think that Garrett Wilson is going to be traded, I do acknowledge like the offseason provides so many different curveballs in the NFL, whether it's financial, whether it's a snag in contract negotiations, and it can come from the most unexpected side of the NFL, like, and it could be a big player, right? The reason why Josh Norman came to Washington in 2016 was because that owner or that GM played in his face, right? For the longest time, he was franchise tagged. And then all of a sudden, the deal came loose. All right. You never know what happens. And I think that's ultimately where I think, there is a way for Gary to get traded, but I don't think he's gonna get traded, bro. If the Falcons beat the Skins, Hawk, if you can hear me, I messaged you in that private chat. You should see the questions. Oh, where's I at? If Falcons beat Skins, they will have the head-to-head, which it will eliminate the Skins. Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, Atlanta got a tough road though. I mean, they got the Giants, Washington, but who was that last game? I think it's Tampa. Oh, New Orleans. Wait, who is this? Who does Atlanta have? Oh, they got the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers could win. Damn. Hey, it makes sense why they moved Atlanta and Washington to Sunday night. They smart. I may mess around and go to that game. Wait, when is that? Let me make sure. I may not have work that next day. And if I don't, saying to hell with the post game show, I'm getting drunk at the Falcons game. That's much more fun. It's like, okay. All right. Where we at? This running back class is loaded. Definitely wouldn't trade for Holt. I would trade up in the draft for Ashton Jeanty. Okay. All right. I would trade up for Ashton Jeanty before trading for Brees. You never know. Ashton. Well, do y'all think that Ashton's gonna be a like top 15 pick? Because you may be in play for Ashton depending on like where you fall in the draft. Oh, okay, I see. All right, I'm gonna resend it now. Okay. Yeah, I'm cool. I like the idea of Jeanty. I wouldn't be opposed to him, but I feel like, brother, like when people get in conversations about the first round, bro, the first round can be so tricky. I think your needs ultimately get defined the closer you get to like the end of the season for you, right? Like what takes priority, and I think, I don't think running back would take priority. I'm not saying that y'all are saying y'all would go running back. I know we're making the comparison, Ashton Jeanty and Brees Hall. So I'm not saying y'all are taking a running back in the first round. I wouldn't be opposed to Ashton Jeanty, right? But we got to see how these cards play out. Like I think Ashton at this point would be a luxury pick more than anything. I think they're gonna need some help at cornerback. Though I like Noah Igbenogany and Sanders too, but like they're not gonna keep Sanders still outside their entire career. I think it's working right now. Okay, let me say this. Hold on, Hawk. Hold on. Okay. All right, you good, Hawk? You go ahead. Handle your business, bro. Appreciate you. All right. Okay. So now we set. I don't even remember what I was saying. I know I was talking about Ashton and Brees, but I don't remember what I was talking about. He said he was traded for Braylon. Braylon the thumper too, just like Tyler Algier. That's my dog. I like Braylon. Same thing though. I wouldn't trade for him. 20 is young as hell though. 20 super young. Come on, Drew Lock beat the Falcons, and we'll handle the Eagles. A Giants win could lead the NFC playoff picture. Could lead to the NFC playoff picture being completely saved the NFC West into other factors. Yeah, what happened? I know Drew Lock not starting. He got, he a little dinged up. But I thought, let me double check. Oh, DeVito got concussed. But who did DeVito play against? Because I thought he got concussed a little minute ago. Who played against? Oh, yeah, he did. He came back against Baltimore, got knocked out. I remember this now because I had the Giants plus 21.5. And by God's grace, they covered it. Okay. Yes, DeVito did get knocked out. Damn. Give me Scatabo in the second round. Tommy DeVito is hurt, so yes, Drew Lock's the starter. Yeah, we talking about that. Atlanta's schedule is easy. We saying basically the Skins just need to take care of business and beat Philly will boost confidence, stamp tickets to the playoffs. All right, let's put it this way. For y'all, I told y'all my win prediction or score prediction. I also said that Washington does have a chance. I think they have a really good chance of beating Philly. Comparatively speaking to other teams who only seeing them one time, don't really have the opportunity to run it back just yet. Like their last two games, Philly are going to be the Giants and the Cowboys, so they'll have an opportunity. But Washington gets the first stab at it, and the any given Sunday line certainly exists and applies to this game, right? But again, 27-20 Philadelphia for me. But those who are in the chat and wasn't there last night or want to, restate what you think about the game, what do you all think is going to be the score of the game? Or you don't even have to do a score game. What's the percent chance that you have Washington winning? Like, what's this percent that you have Washington winning the game? Where you at, like 30%, 50%, 70%? Where are y'all at? I want to say that. And I guess I'll add, for me, since I do think Philadelphia is winning, but Washington has a chance, I'll say my percentage for Washington beating Philadelphia is probably I'd give it like 40%. And that's pretty high for a person who thinks that Philly's going to win 27-20. But I'd say like 40%. Yeah. I do agree with this, though. I think it'd be a dog in Washington. Okay, Cody says 60. Tyler says 49. Oh, it's close. Okay, you got the real split, the 51-49 split. Carly says 60% chance. Okay. I got Skins winning this game. I honestly think it's a 50% chance. Okay. All right. John Bates, Sam Cosme on the injury list. They have an illness. Jonathan Allen, Dante Fowler. Okay, so he's still limited. Jeremy Chin limited. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I'm glad that Biotis is back, but we don't need we don't need to see Dietler back for the rest of the season. He was pretty unprepared against New Orleans, bro. Zane Gonzalez. Oh yeah, Zane Gonzalez and the other dude. Whatever his name is. Both of them wasn't practicing, huh? So AJ Brown on their injury list, Landon Dickerson on their injury list, on the Eagles injury list. Jalen Hurts, well, he said they broke his finger, so Devontae Smith practicing full. Hey, respect to Jaylen, bro, for playing with a broken finger. I'll never forget my first flag football practice. I had never played like high level competitive flag football before. Honestly, I never played flag football, period. Like I was always contact. But when I got out there like 8 years ago, my very first practice, I broke my finger. I broke my finger, bruh. I went in for the flag pull. Where my camera? I went in for the flag pull and boom. Boom, that jump. I was like, I looked down at my finger. You can still see the little crooked just a little bit. This one. It's just a little crooked. Yeah, you can that's probably a better look at it. I look down. I take my glove off. And it's also cold. It's like first practice in March because we're getting ready for spring league. And I looked at my man's wood and I'm like, hey, bro, I don't think my finger supposed to look like this. And I'm glad I went to urgent care because these idiots, like, first thing they thought was pop it back in place. And I believed them. I'm like, nah, this zone ain't moving, bro. This zone ain't moving, bro. But yeah, first practice, bro, I broke my finger. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. That's my point. Playing with a broken finger, though it's not on your it's on your non-throwing hand. Yeah, bro, that's you different, brother. When the Eagles get into let's listen to what Dan Orlovsky has to say. Okay, Tim said 65% chance. Ooh, that's high. That's high. Yes, sir. The morning trappers, man. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to everybody checking in. Let's listen to what Dan Orlovsky has to say about the Eagles' no huddle run game. Which one is it? God damn, this thing cut off again. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Gotta turn this headset back on. All right, here we go.
Dan, when you look at this Eagles offense, how are they able to take advantage of defenses so easily? Something that's going to be really important on what they hope is a long playoff run.
No huddle. It's a little bit like Washington. It's also when Jalen Hurts really becomes the more likely ball carrier. When they get a first down, they immediately get to the line of scrimmage and they want to get into the no huddle run game. The challenge is they can do a lot out of it. 4-by-1. He's reading that defensive end. It's really their version of triple option. I can give it, I can keep it, or I can throw a little bit of a perimeter screen or bubble. Remember, this is when Jalen often becomes the ball carrier. And then as a defense, the no huddle keeps going, and all of a sudden you get so consumed with what we have to protect against Jalen as the runner. 5 defenders in the box. The Eagles keep 5 offensive linemen. That's such an advantage for their run game. Cam Jurgens' athleticism in these situations, because as a defense, you are so consistently on your heels when they're playing that no huddle style. And I showed you it out of 4-by-1. I showed you it out of 2-by-2. And then they'll take a back like Saquon, motion them out, and they get the numbers advantage once again, 5-on-5. And Jalen becomes this ball carrier. You're trying to make sure that you cover all the space sideline to sideline with their pass catchers, and Jalen Hurts really hurts you. I want to see how Washington and Dan Quinn handle that, because Jalen really isn't that much a priority ball carrier wise when they're in their regular run, huddle up, run offense. But when they get into the no huddle, that's when I think the defense gets really undisciplined and Jalen really starts to hurt defense's legs.
I think that's interesting from the standpoint of, Washington's in a position defensively where, you let for 2 possessions, Saquon go off on you, right? But those 2 possessions came in the fourth quarter in the late fourth quarter, at that, right? But I also think what hurt Washington that first game was Jalen's legs, Jalen didn't have too many yards on the ground rushing, but he had some key first down conversions, or even in positions where he set Philadelphia up in these short down and distances, right, where they would just push their way to the first down. So I think the preparation for that option style offense can get tricky. But I think you got to find a way. I'm not even going to get like too deep into the weeds of that. But I think Washington will just have to find a way on that second level to play much more disciplined. Like, how are you going to have that extra man ready on the perimeter, but also have an eye on Jaylen? Like, how are they going to play that? I know with Marshawn, you look at him and you're saying, all right, with you, depending on how they line up, we're going to give some more attention to the box. You can't always do that, right? I do think Sandersteele and Egbenogany, they can hold their own. Obviously, they'll have help over top. But I think like that extra man in the box, whoever it's going to be, it's going to have an important role to play against these guys. And you can't miss no tackles, bro. Like, Saquon, Jaylen, I don't know how many they produced, how many missed tackles they produced against us in Philly. But a couple of them went to contributed to some big plays. Like that Saquon catch. Saquon had 2 catches on the day. Then one of them, I think the first one he had, Percy Butler came screaming down the alley, the middle of the field, bro, and just whipped on the tackle. Something that would have been like a 4-yard gain ended up being like 25 or something like that. So I think for Washington, that's interesting insight from Dan. I just think whatever they do on that second level, what Washington's done, what their plan is going to be the most important part when you're talking about defending that option thing. Like, how are you going to bring an extra man down in the box? Or how are you going to pay attention to that? How are you going to be able to defend the perimeter as well as defend Jalen Hurts? Because like if that second level isn't prepared for being able to read and react, like that click and close, like being able to see what you're seeing and go after the quarterback or go after the running back, whoever it is, the ball carrier, then I think that's so. This is a game for, in essence, Bobby Wagner. Jordan McGee saw some time last week, as well as Michael Walker. I don't know why he ended up getting out, but Jordan McGee saw some time. And Derek Ford saw some time too, right? And he had a lot of snaps everywhere. Cornerback, box, 2 highs, your split safety. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty interesting. Okay. Let's keep going. Are these a podcast? That's NFC. Bryce Huff. Jayden Daniels is legitimately breaking the NFL. That is ridiculous. Ridiculous. John Riggins got a podcast. I just saw a face on his podcast. I ain't even gonna, never mind. I ain't even gonna go down that route. It's gonna make me sound a little bitter. And I am a little bitter. But I keep my composure. Okay. I think we're good. Let's see. Oh, who would we rather play, Eagles, Lions, or Vikings? I mean, that's a good question. I don't mind answering these, by the way, or having these discussions. Like in terms of like playoff discussions, I have absolutely no fear that Washington fumbles this. I don't think they're going to fumble this at all. I don't care if I stick my foot in my mouth. figuratively speaking, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that Washington's going to fold. I think they're going to get a playoff bid. All that to say, give me Minnesota, man. Eagles and Lions offensive line just too crazy. They can take over the game if they want to. Vikings scheme wise are great. They're incredible on both sides of the football. But all you gotta do is get to Sam Darnold. Get to Sam Darnold. Get a little ground game going. If you can affect Sam Darnold, you got a shot. That was funny. I was looking at the same thing, Jay Tizzy, when he said 65%. Like, what I need to do? I need to bet. Do I need to bet Washington money line? I do think. I do like our. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And he had a face on there, bro. I was like, you know what, man? Like, all right, I'm gonna just say this. I don't know why people. Like, I be feeling like sometimes I be establishing these connections and stuff like that. And I don't always I don't have any expectations behind, people. But I'm the type of person, like, when I say I'm gonna do something, like, I'm gonna do it, right? And if I can't do it, I'm gonna let you know, like, why I can't do it. Like, that's the type of man I am. And maybe I should stop having these expectations in other people that I have in myself, because everybody's different. So I was saying, I saw a face on this podcast where I'm like, bro, you one of them MFers who will be playing with me. And luckily I'm respectful. You know what I'm saying? I don't really be like in this industry, bro. Like, I don't have any expertise in this media journalism. Like, I've been around for a while. I've been credentialed. I've had access, but I ain't been around long enough to really know the ins and outs. So I be having to watch my tongue. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I just expect too much out of people. So I saw a face from the working show. I'm like, bruh, I ain't got no issue with you, but I got a little issue with you, bruh. Lions defense is bad right now. They got a ton of injuries. But see, that's the thing, though. I don't disagree. I don't think they're bad, but they do got a ton of injuries, right? Like, if they get the pass rush going on any given week, you got a problem. But like, offensively, they have, honestly, I think they have the most complete roster on offense. But David Montgomery going down did hurt them. So I'm not too sure about like their running game with just Jahmyr Gibbs primarily. But I think they had one of the most complete rosters on offense. And when you're talking about a good quarterback in Jared Goff, I have a question. This is a side note. If Jared Goff ever wins a Super Bowl, or even makes it back to the Super Bowl, because again, he'd be making it back with a different team, not the Rams, and not under Sean McVay. But if he makes it back to, let's say that if he makes it back to a Super Bowl, is Jared Goff a Hall of Fame quarterback? And before, if you think that's an easy answer, look at his success throughout his entire career. He's had the same story arc in both LA and Detroit. The same exact story arc. If you get what I'm saying. Terrible first year. You get a different OC. Get a different leader on offense. And you are a motherfucking dog. Again. I think so. I think Jared Goff, if he makes it to another Super Bowl, bro, I think he's a Hall of Famer. Tell me I'm tripping. I ain't tripping. I know I'm not. But yeah, to that point though, I think that they're one of the most talented offenses in the NFL. Let me be more clear. I think that they're one of the more complete offenses in the NFL, top to bottom. And I think Jared Goff is a good quarterback, comparatively speaking to Jalen Hurts, who's like above average. But that offense has a good offensive line. They have some weapons, and it makes it harder for them to defend Jalen Hurts as well. So that creates the problem. But I would definitely rather play the Minnesota Vikings. High speed, how much you want to bet, bro? 10 years from now, let's make the bet. He don't need to. It is a good question, though. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. How you gonna say it's an easy answer? Y'all know it's a good question. Y'all know it's a good question. Look at the success Jared Goff has had in both his stops, bro. People thought that he was a product. He's a product of Sean McVay, which which arguably could be the case, like from a perception standpoint, right? But that's why they traded him away. They wanted to get better, and they did. They went to the Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. But guess what? Detroit got better. Ironically enough. So that will tell you the value of Jared Goff. Jared has never carried a team. He's always been on a stacked situation. He's not a Hall of Famer. All right, hold on now. Do you need to carry a team to make the NFL Hall of Fame? And y'all are disrespectful, bro. Y'all think Jared Goff is a Jag? The Lions, I'm telling you right now, bro. Think of if you think that Jared Goff is just a guy, think of a middle of the pack quarterback right now, or a bottom tier starting quarterback right now, and put them in Detroit situation and see if they're going to be see if they'll be 11-2. What's their record? 12-2. All right, let's think of a middle of the pack quarterback right now. Let's say middle of the pack. Derek Carr. Do you think Derek Carr can go in Detroit right now and be 12-2? The same exact success. Same type of Super Bowl aspirations. Derek Carr is one. Let's think of another middle of the pack. I'm gonna shoot off the names. Whether or not y'all think that they can or can't, I'm not even gonna argue with y'all, but I know my answers. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that y'all right or wrong. All right, so Derek Carr is one. Geno Smith. Do you think Geno Smith can go into Detroit and do the exact same thing that they're doing right now? That's another one. Let's go to another one. Let's go Trevor Lawrence. Do you think Trevor Lawrence can go into Detroit and do the exact same thing that they're doing right now? Bro, the man threw 5 picks against Houston and still came back and dogged their ass. Sure, his team had to step up until he was able to, do his thing. But you get what I'm saying? Like, the reason why you come back in a game where you down, after you threw 5 picks, is because you made some plays yourself. Shit, the game against Green Bay Thursday night a couple weeks ago, they had to come back in that one. Anyway, I'll just say this. I'll leave it at this. I think this is a really good. I thought it was a really good question, honestly. I don't think it was an easy answer. That's kind of where I got teed up. If you don't think that he's a Hall of Fame player, I think that's cool. But my argument is for him he makes the Hall of Fame if Detroit gets to a Super Bowl with him. That's 2 Super Bowl appearances that you made with 2 different teams. I do think it's stamped if he wins the Super Bowl. Right? I think his bid to the Hall of Fame is stamped. If he does win the Super Bowl, I think he'll have a chance. It's just I want to be more clear. If he makes the Super Bowl, he's done a lot, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. All right. Ooh. Okay. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up. Again, like I said, it's all good. If y'all disagree or agree, let's see this one. Was Mark Rippon was a Hall of Famer? Obviously not, but he was playing at an MVP level because the skins was loaded and the lines were similar. Goff not a Hall of Fame quarterback. All right. Well, first off, I'm gonna be honest with you. It says that Mark Rippon played 13 years. He's had 78 out of 104 games. He's started 78 of them. I have to do my research on Mark Rippon because I don't know his entire contract. I mean his entire career. Right? I'm 30, bro. Like I don't know him too much. Jared Goff has played 131 games. He started 131 games. They are not similar. Mark Rippon has not started over 100 games, let alone played over 100 in 11 years. Jared Goff has only been Jared Goff has only been in the league for 9 years. He's been a starter forever. You know, he's been in Washington. Mark Rippon has for what, a few years, majority of his career. But he's nowhere near as efficient or as good as Jared. So I mean, I think that one was a little bit much more easier to dissect. They're not close to being the same. Jared Goff sets records. He sets records, bro. That's it, man. And I ain't disrespecting Mark Rippon, by the way. I want to make that clear. I hope that wasn't being construed as disrespectful. More so just pointing home that, you know, they definitely have different careers. I mean, you know, you get a lot of starts in Washington. That's where majority of his starts came from. But I also think that for a person who played or who had 11 seasons, but only, he only had 78 starts, that ought to tell you a lot. That's kind of where I'm getting at. Jared Goff has started every single game in his career. Oh shit! There you go. So that's a little different. High Speed says Goff situation is. Sorry, brother. I don't deny that Detroit has a loaded team, right? But they didn't just have that out of nowhere. Like, they kept building. Jared Goff was winning with them after the first season. That second season, they went 9-8. He was winning with them that year. He looked real good. They didn't make the playoffs that year either. He was with them during the struggle. It ain't like he just got plopped into a good team. He was winning with them when they weren't winning. Come on, man. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for us. Appreciate everybody who's checking in. The early birds been in here since 6 a.m., but we appreciate the love nonetheless. Your boy got to go ahead and get ready for the gym. Look, again, great, and I'm gonna start being a little bit more intentful or intent. Who is this person? See, that's what I'm saying, bro. People can't spell my name right. I'm gonna be a little bit more intentful with because I like doing like the gambling previews. I like doing it. I do it on all 32. I did it on the Friday show one time. I haven't gotten back to it. I need to start doing it a little bit more. But I need to be a little bit more intentional with that. I'm going to try to get back to that intentionally next Friday, so we can talk about that. But we got some good games on this weekend, man. And I think one of my favorite games is on Saturday in NFL. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I think that's going to be a good one. It's kind of weird that, Pittsburgh, I think it's like on a 6-game winning streak against the Ravens. I think that ends this week, by the way. But those are one of my favorite games this weekend, man. So I'm looking at that. Minnesota and Seattle should be interesting, although I think Seattle's a little disappointment. Excuse me, a little disappointing. There was another game that I'm looking for. I can't find it. Maybe it was just Washington and Philly. I don't know. But, and this game's on. College football, FCS playoffs. I don't know if y'all FCS fans. That's tomorrow as well. We got the first game, Indy taking on Notre Dame. That's going to be good. Yeah. Good luck on your parlays. Good luck on your straight bets. Mike, if you're out there still gambling, you know what I'm saying? Gamble responsibly. Use my promo code TRIBEDIVE on Underdog Fantasy too if you're still doing that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, take it easy. I appreciate everybody locked in live. Make sure you hit that like button one more time for your boy if you haven't. We out here. Peace.
Chop it down. Chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Damn, set. Watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.